What's up, YouTube? Drew here, and you are in the shop with this 2016 Mazda 3. This is not a fun one. It came with a very, very rare, these cars almost never have problems, and it came with a whine in the transmission, and it ended up being the carrier bearing for one of the axles. If you look, see that red dot next to the strap? That's where the axle shaft right there goes into the transmission. Well, the bearings that allow that to rotate, one of them was bad. So I just wanted to let you know, I got the new transmission almost all the way in. I got a little bit of putzing around to do before it's in there, and that's when I thought of you guys. So I just wanted to tell you what you're up against if you're gonna do this. You notice that this bar is totally crooked. And the reason for that is the only good place you've got to bolt to the engine with, I forget the thread size, but that's a 14 millimeter head there. You know, I think it's a 10 millimeter thread. Like a 10 goes with a 6, a 12 goes with an 8. I think a 14 goes with a 10 millimeter. And then there's another one right here on the block. You probably could use there's another one right there, but it could collide with this. Anyways, either way, the issue is because you're in the front on this side and on the back on that side, the engine twists when you take out the mounts, which is a nightmare. I wasn't being careful getting out the old transmission because it's just going to get scrapped, and it flopped around a little bit more than I'm proud of. Again, I don't care because it's going to the scrap pile. This is the new one, so I've got it strapped on. It's very, very tight. You've got to get the part that sticks out, that hump in the back where the axle shafts go in. It's tough to get that to clear the back part of the frame while also clearing the front part of the frame over here. The other thing is, by the way to defeat that twisted engine is to have the jack, have a jack with a piece of wood under the oil pan, and you obviously need this bar. You cannot do this job with this engine because there's a mount here, there's a mount that goes where those two holes are right there, and like a bridge, the engine and transmission as one assembly are suspended there, and then there's what's called a torque strut that goes right there. That black tab sticking off the frame that stops it from rocking when you hit the gas. So there is absolutely no safe way to, this engine is just sitting there. I mean, obviously it's not going to fall all the way out because it's held on by things like freaking air conditioner lines and gas lines and all that, but it'll fall enough to severely hurt you. So you need one of these for your safety. That's not questionable at all. But the jack is, you know, right now I can't fall because the jack's under it, right? But the jack is how I got this engine into the position of having the harmonic balancer and the belt drive right up against this frame rail, which gives me enough room. It's crazy because everything is touching. I mean, you figure that the fact that flywheel fits in between the transmission and the engine means I've cleared it, right? I don't know if I'm making sense with what I want to say, but the engine and the transmission have to come apart as far as they are now for that flywheel to fit inside the bell housing of the transmission and bolt to the torque converter. So, I always say jobs like this are miserable. This one really wasn't that bad. I mean, if only, and if is a stupid statement, we all know that, but if only there was a better way to hook this engine to like a ceiling hoist or even this very same bar. Like if it had a mounting point in all four corners, I would go with just one of these bad boys with a little bit of grease and use a rubber hammer to knock it over, and the engine would follow it. Keep the engine right in its home position. By the way, I have the exhaust unbolted. You can see it down there because I didn't want to put tension on the exhaust by moving the engine around. It is inches in all three, we'll call this X, this Y, and this Z. I mean, it's inches off in every area. It's fine. I mean, those inches aren't enough to screw up anything like, this vacuum line or fuel lines or anything like that. You're totally fine to, we're talking inches. We're not talking feet, right? But everything is moved quite a bit to allow this. This video, obviously, I'm not going to publish it if I don't get the car back together, right? But I've been working on cars for over 20 years. I don't have any doubt in my mind, or I wouldn't be shooting this video. I would be fighting the process, right? When this transmission's almost home, I just thought this was a good point to stop and show you. And by the way, everything, all the harnesses and all that from over here, they unplug and flop onto the top of the engine. The ECU sits right over here. It's super, super, super simple in terms of that stuff. It's just fit is tough, and you have I would say less than 1 inch to work with, and there is no 1 inch of precision with how everything moves when you do it. So there's really nothing to show you guys that you can't see in this video. You're just gonna have a bunch of stuff you need to disconnect. That's a super obvious statement, right? But you're gonna have a bunch of stuff you need to disconnect. It's gonna be obvious. It's relatively simple. Pinch off the coolant lines, obviously. Oh, the cooler block. This is the one from the new transmission. I don't trust that one because it's dented from the pallet. This is the one from the old transmission. This bad boy's got to come off. You might want to replace those O-rings. That bad boy's got to come off. The other cool thing about this, if you look right, well, I guess I'll show you. Right there, there's a dipstick, quote unquote. It's not for the end user. It's for somebody doing what I'm doing, but that's going to be very helpful. That's where to refill this thing and where to measure the fluid. I think it specifies 50 degrees Celsius. So I'll, let the car run, and once it's all back together, I have a thing to measure temperature. I think it's 124 degrees Fahrenheit, 54 degrees Celsius. And let's see how good my memory is. I saved the other dipstick in case they didn't give it to me. 122. I was off by a little bit. One thing that I didn't save, and I'm very mad that I didn't, is you can't see it because it's blocked by this. It's right where my finger is. You can't see it from this angle. The breather for the transmission, there's a rubber tube that goes up and hangs out with some wiring harnesses. Unfortunately, I didn't save that. I didn't think I had to. So now I have to make one, which is no big deal. I've made them before for hot rod projects, easy peasy. But yeah, I mean, this is a relatively straightforward job. I may have accidentally included one of these on the transmission as I look here that I'll have to take off before I put everything back together. I know I can see one down there, but the gist of it is, yeah, here we are. I don't have a lift. Those of you who know about my shop, it's a humble shop, and I'm blessed to have it. It's just a transmission jack. I got an engine hoist over there I haven't had to use, tire machines. That thing will get the shop above freezing after about 6 hours when I start out on a 0-degree morning. That's fun. Please pray for our move to North Georgia, which is supposed to happen any month here now. Sick of the cold for 5, 6, 7 months a year, way up here on the Canadian border. Anyway, just a very doable job. You're looking at it right here. Like I said, I would never publish one of these before the job's done. It's just, this is the point where I decided to shoot the footage. So early in this video's life is a great time to ask questions. I'll try to answer them if I can. But this video will remain long past my memory of this job. Just know that. But it just proves that this is a very, very doable job. And if I could do it, you could do it. Hang in there if you're going through this. Take care. God bless. Bye.